Don't leave it
Okay,
easy.
we are recording live
We're
here.
recording now. Can we
I
start off by
want to
saying what
thank
just happened?
everybody.
Can we start
No,
off?
we don't need to do that. We'll hey, for those of you that are joining the show that may normally watch it, this is going to be a very different show. Okay, I want to alert you up front, but it's all cool. We're gonna have a great time. So, hey guys, welcome to episode 10
What's up,
of
Marina?
What's Next Beyond Service. It's called Heavenly Host because we got three folks that are doing great things with an initiative that they put together that is all about helping others. So right now, what I want to do is I want to introduce those three folks, and then I'm going to turn it over to them for their elevator pitch, so to speak, and they're going to introduce who they are. And then once they do that, we're going to hop right into the interview and talk about all the things that they're doing now. So you're really going to enjoy this show. So first off, we're going to go with Dave Dequeljoe.
Yes.
Dave, tell us who you are.
Listen, first of all, can I object to the whole premise of the show? You're starting. This is a really boring start. I feel like just when I'm watching this show on recording, I'm already going to click off. So listen, stay with us. This is not my show, so we have to do Scott Duncan's rule. So just stay with us a little bit longer. I promise you, it's going to be a great show. So
yeah,
anyway.
Sarah, don't be afraid to mute his mic, or what we can do is we can kick him off, and then the only way he can get back on is to put a name in there that says "I'm sorry," and that'll be his screen name. Okay.
No, you've got all the power, Scott. You've got all the power on this one.
We have a lot of good things for everyone today. But I just think the format, I'm objecting to the format. Can I just do that? Now I'm back to
you can do whatever you want, Dave, but right now I need you to introduce yourself.
All right.
Tell us who you are.
All right. I am no one like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, and I'm everyone, and I'm all of you. And what we do basically is we take all the wisdom of the whole world and we amplify it back out. So I'm challenging you, all leaders out there. I'm challenging you. I'm calling you out. Come to our show and teach me something that I don't know already. What's up? Mic drop. And then, but not for me to be awesome, which I already am. For me to take your knowledge and share it with all the other veterans and brothers and sisters out there and our allies. Is that
hey, Dave, you are, and you're ahead. Now, I did send you something in advance.
I know, but
and I was hoping that since you're an aviator, I figured you're good on checklist, right? So maybe that's telling me something here. But anyhow, I did send you a checklist on what we're going to talk about. Right now, I need you to introduce who you are. Who is Dave? Right. Tell me, what's your elevator pitch?
I mean, I don't really have one. I'm just me, and my teammates are awesome. Well, let's go to them, Vaughn and Jeff. Well, actually, don't go to Jeff Knight first because he's not that great of a wingman. Let's go to Vaughn. Everyone's favorite on the show is Vaughn.
Okay, well, okay, Dave, so you're not going to play along. All right, so moving on. Hey, Jeffrey Knight. I'm good at pronouncing people's names. Jeff Knight, we love you, man. What's up? Tell us about yourself.
Knigget, right? Going back in time. Hey, everybody. So you have to excuse Dave Dequeljoe. Dave likes to talk a lot, but he doesn't like to talk about himself, which is a great quality. And if he doesn't introduce himself, I'm going to introduce him for you. But anyway, my name's Jeff Knight, 28-year Army veteran. Dave's going to give me a lot of crap on this, which he always does every week. But my career was great. Have no regrets. Currently working as a people and process development manager right now with Comark International, as well as, and that's sometimes I think that's my side job. Angels 14 is where the passion's at.
Not bad. We Scott Duncan, we don't let Jeff Knight talk on the show. He's not really. He's like a junior leadership instructor. So that was okay. Not bad.
It was very good. Now, are you going to introduce yourself, or are we going to move on?
It doesn't really matter who I am. Vaughn, go. Listen, everyone loves Vaughn. You're going to see her. The power.
Yeah, well, I know everyone does love her. But for those of you that don't know, I'll step in and just give a little bit of plug for Dave. Dave served in the Navy. He was an F-14 pilot. So that should tell you enough that probably all you need to know about Dave, because in the pregame, just so you know, Dave, in the pregame, we were talking about you. I mean, we were talking, well, you were not there. And I shared with Vaughn and Jeff and Sarah that I did 2 years with the aviation side of the house in the Marine Corps. I'm a ground guy. I did 2 years, and we always talk about swing with the wing. Yeah, those guys, whatever. But you know what? Those guys, they do swing, but they also are extremely professional. They know their job. They know safety A through Z, and they take care of each other and they have fun while they're doing it. So that probably is a reflection of who you are to some degree. So that's Dave. All right, now moving on, we're going to talk about Vaughn. Vaughn Lai-DuMone, can you please tell us who you are?
Oh my God, I love the way you pronounce my name.
Oh, cool, man. That really was.
So
Hey, I was in France for about a month, a couple years ago. So
got it. So just so you know, that DuMone part of my name is actually completely made up. My husband is Greek. His last name was Spiliotopoulos. Before he was born, his dad, a con artist, wanted to start a French restaurant, so legally changed their name to DuMone. So that's
cool.
It's
wow,
pretty cool, right? It's a fun story to tell.
Well, I figured it.
Yeah,
I figured it may have been from the French being in that part of the world, years ago. So
that would have been a better story, but no, he just made it up. So I'm Vaughn. My work is in team and leadership development. I do it all through this lens of creative integration, which basically means I bring creativity, play, and experiential learning into all of my work. I first started working with the veteran community through the Honor Foundation, and I go down there to San Diego once a quarter and work with their fellows on transition night, the night right before graduation, where we start building possibilities for their future using creativity. And the beauty in that is that I am a Vietnamese refugee, and Camp Pendleton was our first home here in the United States. So for the Marines and the military to be such a great, huge part of our transition into this new country. And now I get to go back once a quarter and help these special force operators in their transition.
Wow, that's a lot. That's fantastic. I'm going to have you on.
And that's how it's done, Dave.
In a whole
Whoa! Hey!
Now talk about a mic drop. I heard that mic drop across the state there. Hey, Vaughn, I'm going to have you on a whole nother show, so we'll talk about that another time. But no, that was fantastic. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to roll right into the interview, and I want to start with the mission statement. Right? We're military folks, less Vaughn, but she's got her heart right there with us. So, what is the mission statement of Angels 14? So, Dave, I'll let you take that if you want to tell us.
I'm not really sure we have one, but let me just say something about Vaughn, who I think is really, really cool. And I don't think she really quite introduced herself, even though she did great, as always. The reason why I love Vaughn so much is she inspires hope in people and leaders out there. We need that more than ever. It gets rough out there. It gets real rough. So leaders that can always bring us back to hope consistently is why people love Vaughn so much. And her relentless optimism for life. And she sees the best in people. And she even sees the best in Jeff Knight. So there you go. Now, we have a mission statement somewhere. I don't know what it is, but it's basically Jeff, this is actually your thing, Jeff. Jeff is always like, can we get a logo? This is it, by the way, part of it. And a website and a freaking mission. He likes all that stuff. Jeff, we got.
Yeah, Jeff is like an XO, right? He's like a wingman XO. He's kind of running things. So
he's like Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's like Drax. He was like, you can't throw a joke over my head. I would catch it. He's like that guy. But we love him. And that's what it works. You know what I mean? It works.
Well, when you were talking about Vaughn, I thought you were actually talking about Jeff. So I was getting a little confused. So Jeff, what can you tell us about your mission statement, brother?
Hey, appreciate Team Jeff there, Scott. So hey, essentially Angels 14. And we can get into the story here in a little bit as Dave doesn't know at this point, because he didn't read your message. But basically, what Angels 14, what it comes down to is providing a space for camaraderie, community, and connection for veterans and their allies. Yeah, and that is simply what it is. If we can make an impact on just one person, that's all we care about.
And that's perfect, because your mission statement it doesn't need to be like 10 paragraphs, and it needs to be easily understood if it's going to have the impact. So that's fantastic.
You can see why it needs to be easily understood, right, Scott, Duncan, and viewers on watching this on recording. It needs to be simple for the Army guys. So whenever you have Army guys in the team, you've got to make the missions thing easily understood, and then everyone knows it, and that's great. It's fine. We don't judge.
Well, the same applies to Marines, right? We gotta simplify things, right? And we now have edible crayons now, crayons rather. So if you've seen those, now you know. Okay, so great mission story. Completely understand. So let's talk about the backstory. So now, Dave, you're going to have to help us with the backstory, because I want your backstory on how Angels 14 came about. How did that happen?
It's an awesome backstory, actually. I love it so much. This is the way I remember. Now Jeff is gonna have his version, but I mean, you can't rely on the Army guys. Anyways, so as always, Army guys are always kind of like, a little slower than everybody else, a little bit, like need help and stuff, especially from the aviation, because we're always faster, just kind of, watching out for everybody. Always heroes and saving. Just by the way, just just as a side note, all the ground guys saved my life when I came back. So I give you all a bunch of, and gals, a bunch of, hard time, but it's with love. Because in combat, we saved you. And back home, when I came home and I was having a hard time, real hard time, the ground guys from all the services helped me and saved my life. So
hey, God bless you, Dave. It's one team, one fight, brother.
Always love. Now having said that, back to hating on the Army guys. Okay, so he was like, hey, I'm an Army guy and I don't really know what's going on. And like, can you help me? Like, I'm just kind of lost at sea. And I was like, okay, I've been lost at sea one time, my friend. Let's do this thing. I've been meaning to do it forever now. And it's going to be awesome. Ideally, one day we're going to buy the theater in Laguna Beach, by the way. It's unoccupied right now. So if any millionaires out there watching this, please send us a check so we can buy this thing and make it like a center for leadership. But really, and healing. But really what Angels 14 is, which what we missed, was forget about the backstory. I've really it's evolved as we've gone on. It's not about me being so awesome, which is what it started out as, and Jeff not being awesome. Now it's about encouraging leaders to make a difference in the world. And it's about learning and teaching. And the reason why the thing works so well is because it's a classroom and everyone contributes. We ensure every voice is heard, but despite me yapping so much, you wouldn't believe it. But we make sure every voice is heard. We get the wisdom from everybody. And then we take the best pieces of that. We throw away all the Jeff pieces. We take the best pieces and then we go out and do awesome things in the world. And so it's really, Angels 14 is a really collection of leaders. But anyways, how it started off was Jeff was like, I need help. Of course, as the Army guys always do. And I was like, yeah, I can help you. Let's do this thing. Jeff, what's your version? Something like that. You're on mute, by the way, of course.
Oh,
Dave. Jeff can't do Zoom, by the way. This is usually a fair warning. If you come to our show, Jeff is going to screw everything up. This is a fair warning. But he's still a lovable guy. What do you got, Jeff? What's your version of the story?
Yeah, well, look, real quick. I really would
Jeff's
like to
mom
get...
is here. I'm in trouble now, everybody.
Hey, Dave. Dude, I really would like to get the backstory, because I know there's a backstory to this. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it because of, emotions and things, I mean, I get that, so if you want to pass on that, we'll send it to Jeff and he can tell us.
Let's go, Jeff. I like to give him some things to say every once in a while. This is a softball question.
Okay. Well, Jeff, what's what's the backstory? What's the greater, backstory to this?
So this was during a time, we spoke about this on the last time I was on, Scott, but this was at a time where I was unemployed. And through a mutual friend, Jason Van Camp at Mission 60, I met Dave and we had a phone call on I want to say it was a Sunday afternoon. And it was simply me, looking for connections to find a job, to find employment again. And so on gets Dave, who, as you already know, goes 100 miles an hour when he talks, fast talker from New York. But really what it comes down to, and by the way, let me make this point too. Dave and I have never met in person.
Yeah, I don't even know this. I don't even know that he's a real guy. He could be my imaginary friend. And then Kathy could be like puppeteering him behind. Which would make sense because he doesn't really see anything good. So that's what maybe Kathy's ventriloquizing him or whatever. You get it.
So don't pay attention. What is that noise back there that he's talking? I don't know what he's doing. But we had the conversation, and within that conversation, he was like, "Hey Jeff, I got this idea. I got this thing. I want to do more. I want to do, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what it is. And hey, are you in? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Because at that point, it was one of those things where I was wanting to give back a little bit more than I had been. And he kind of provided this, hey, I don't, right now, I can't do this by myself. I need a wingman. I need somebody to help me out with this. And so it was kind of born out of that phone call very quickly. And we didn't know what the hell we were going to do. But we had just decided that, hey, we're going to do something. And that's really, what it comes back to, the origin story, if you will, of Angels 14.
Okay. Interesting. So let's shift to something probably a little more interesting at this point. And that's how did
I get it. See,
yeah.
Scott, everyone gets it on the show. Sorry, Kathy. Welcome aboard, Kathy, by the way. Oh, she's giving me the look.
Yeah. So again, moving forward here, how did Vaughn come into this? That's what I really want to know. Vaughn, can you tell us that, or is this another Jeff story?
No. It's definitely not another Dave story.
This Vaughn will tell it better. I've used my broken arrow on crunching Jeff. Now that he's a pile of mass on the floor smoking, we'll let Vaughn build him back up again.
So I, through the Honor Foundation, it was really like my whole life. I was like, I want to get back to veterans. I didn't know how. The Honor Foundation gave me my first entry into working with veterans. And from there, I met Pam, one of the coaches, and through LinkedIn, I met Sarah through Pam. And I just started joining Sarah's calls. And I met, there's so many powerful stories through that. And Jeff, I feel like you either spoke, I don't think you spoke at this one, but I met you through one of the calls. And it's just the power of connection, the power of just reaching out, the power of LinkedIn. Jeff, I connected through LinkedIn on Sarah's call. He had mentioned Angels 14. And I just thought, well, maybe I'll join one of these calls. Although I really felt like, what am I going to be doing on this call? For me, it was this idea of, well, maybe I can join. I found so much joy in giving and being a part of the Honor Foundation. I just wanted to find another way, another place I could see if I could be of service to veterans. So I joined the call. I remember specifically, Jeff, emailing you and saying, like, I'd love to join the call. Don't know if I belong there. I'm just going to stay on mute and keep my camera off. And that was my intention. Really, I really was like, I'm just going to show up and just listen. But the second I got on the call, my camera went on, maybe not a second, but within a couple of minutes, my camera went on. I came off of mute because there was just this sense of belonging. I don't know quite how to explain it, but everyone was so welcoming, so open, so real that there was no hiding. There was no need to hide. And again, like
Awesome.
being a civilian and joining this call of veterans, I really thought I would feel out of place, but it was completely the opposite. I tell these guys all the time, as a Vietnamese refugee who grew up in Santa Monica, a very Caucasian, blonde hair, blue eyed community in the 70s, the feeling of belonging that didn't ever come very easily to me in my life. And there was something about this organization, this group and this call that gave me that feeling of belonging. And that's really what kept me coming back.
Wow. Well, there's power to that. And that's, a sense of belonging. We all need that in life, right? And you talk about, the military a lot, right? Because, us guys are military guys. And what we do, what I do and what Jeff and Dave are doing, is focused, the origins are on helping the military. But a lot of the things that we struggle with are common things. Everyone has the, same sets of issues. We all deal with them maybe a little bit differently, and our experiences are obviously different, but that's cool. So so Angels 14 has evolved. So what's a typical show like? Now, I know Dave, he's driving it hard. He's doing his thing, but what's a typical show like? What can someone expect? Someone who's just calling in, what is the show going to be like?
Okay, Scott, I got to jump in here because Jeff can't answer this question because he's not capable of answering questions really in general. So Vaughn, nice job. I got a couple comments to make on what you said, and there's a larger, more beautiful story behind the Vaughn thing. But first, what you can expect if you come to our show, and you all should, by the way. I'm calling you out there, by the way, all you leaders out there, and all of you are leaders, veterans and allies. The time is right now. People out there, a good friend of mine, Jay Lee, said something the other day. He said the people out there that are suffering and struggling, which there are a lot. They don't care if we're tired or cranky or we don't feel courageous enough to do this day or whatever. They're suffering. And if we are strong, we must lend our strength. So time is right now. So what you can expect is chaos and ambiguity. That's what you can expect. And you need to learn how to thrive in that. And I will challenge you to make sure that you know how. And it's not scary. It's fun. Well, I laugh at you. But Jeff is the worst of us. So as long as he sets the bar low, everyone else is kind of along the journey, somewhere in between. And then we talk about stuff. And we have intellectual honesty. That means we ensure every voice is heard, including my own, so the best idea wins, which is never Jeff's. Sometimes it is. But in the doing so, we gather all the puzzle pieces together and we solve all of our problems. So if someone needs help, we help them give them airspeed and momentum. We help them get them unstuck, right? And if someone wants to do something awesome, big, and they're scared, we give them encouragement, right? And if you can't use Zoom, then we don't tell them to talk to Jeff because he doesn't know anything about anything. All right, back to Vaughn. There's this thing that There's the things you said about the belonging thing that I want all leaders. If you listen to anything on this one show, is leaders create. You set the culture wherever you go. My favorite player, Steph Curry, says you set the tone, you set the tempo yourself. The best players have home field advantage everywhere they go, and the worst players can't play on the road because they get scared, they get tight. Set a culture of belonging and watch the magic fly. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You can't. Vaughn is so powerful. Sarah is so powerful. Matt Murphy, smartest guy I ever met. Eric Harvey, look at this guy. He's got two-tone baseball cap on. We could learn from that, I'm sure. Pam Reyes, super wise. Marina Rabinek, Women Warrior Wednesdays. Check that thing out. Kathy Jabot, she's video off right now because of the whole, parenting of Jeff thing. I get it. It's you'll get over it. We forgive you. Jerry Morla, this guy, we call him the Wizard. He's working on some kind of secret project. Can't talk about it right now. But all these leaders are in our group, making the group more powerful. Some people come and they're suffering, and we help them. But a lot of people come in there and they're just trying to get airspeed to do something awesome in the world. So come check us out, and you will be welcomed and made fun of, and you will feel belonging. All right,
and I'll add to that, Scott. So, because we, if you, believe it or not, Jeff, Dave, and I do have meetings to talk.
Well,
about
actually, that's something I was going to ask about, but now's a perfect time to do that. So,
got it.
What's that like?
So
is it like this?
It's pretty much like this. It's pretty much like this. And it's like this whole idea of like, what are we doing? And something that came up in terms of like, what are you going to expect on the show? We don't know, right? Sometimes we have a leadership topic, and sometimes we get to it, sometimes we don't, because the most important thing is to reach out to the community who shows up on the call and ask like, what's going on? Does anyone need our help? And the support and the encouragement that comes behind that. And what it really kind of, on one of the calls that where we got something done, what came up was this idea of people show up for possibilities, and not possibilities necessarily for yourself, but possibilities in how I might be able to help someone else.
Yes. The creativity, which Vaughn does so well. Oh shoot, but I got to ask Jeff a question, but I'm just afraid he's going to mess this moment up. But Vaughn, what she added to the team was so beautiful, and here's why. Scott Duncan, I heard a really powerful leader one time. He doesn't want to be quoted, so I'll leave him nameless. But he said, we always assume at this company, because we hire the best people, that they're not bad people. They're just in the wrong seat, or they're just not being utilized properly. And so we hire leaders, but we don't put them in a leadership role. We put them in as a team, and we see who people gravitate to. And people have gravitated to Vaughn, not because she's better looking than me. She's not. Not because she's smarter than me. She's not. But because she always is so generous. And because she listens to you, she gives you generously what you need, not what she thinks you want, which is what I do. I give you what I think you want, which is loud music and F-14s and like in your face and like army jokes. But Vaughn gives you what you need, which makes her such a flexible, powerful leader. And that's why people follow her, and that's why we butt her on. Goosebumps, by the way.
And she's that rose between the thorns that we talked about earlier in the week.
Dave's going to argue that.
And Scott,
at the time.
And Scott, she doesn't demand jelly beans either.
Well, you know what? Hey, you were reading. This is scary. You were reading my mind, Jeff, because Dave, I know you probably didn't. Since you didn't look at my checklist, I really doubt that you looked at a few other things I sent today. I put out an advertisement, right, to let folks know one more time that we're talking to Dave, Jeff, and Vaughn today. And on that advertisement, I put a picture in the bottom left corner, and that was for you. Oh. Did you see that?
I'm so sorry. I don't check my email or usually any messages, but that's why
I find that hard to believe. I think you're lying to me here. But anyhow, if you can go back now and look at it, that's cool. But there's something that Dave asked. He wanted like a retainer, wanted something in advance for his time. And I looked into it, but I found out that it was back ordered. So I put something on the advertisement so he would know I was thinking about him. So that was for you, Dave.
Scott Duncan, by the way, Scott Duncan, I love this. This guy is a great leader and inspires me. So as much as I give him a hard time, and I'm obviously trying to hijack his show just to be mischievous and fun, I really respect and admire him tremendously. And also, by the way, flew all my combat missions with the Marines. Always love and respect. Semper Fi.
Amen, brother. Hey, my grandfather was a Marine. He fought in the Second World War in the Pacific in Tarawa. And, he told me stories about, he really feels that he's alive because we had air support. And he said, when I was in a foxhole and I was looking up and I was watching the Japanese, dropping bombs, he said, every bomb had your name on it. And he said, if it wasn't for the Navy and air support, that he and probably so many wouldn't have been alive and come back to share their life and their goodness with all the folks that they touched. My grandfather was an amazing man. It's not because he was my grandfather. I don't share this with many people. He was my mom's stepdad. So there's no bloodline there, but you would never know that. He loved everybody and he loved me like a son. And I loved him like a father. He was so good to me and to our family that, he is missed. I mean, there's a hole in my heart that will never be filled, but his love and the person he was helps, make the fact that we miss him dearly. It covers that. And he passed away in 2006. And I do recall the first day going back, I was active duty still. First time I went back home to Virginia when he was no longer with us. I'd always get excited because I knew I'd see my grandfather. That was that was my reason for going back. I mean, other folks might not want to hear that. I love everybody, but he was the man. And it hit me. Geez, he's not with us anymore. And man, that just, it hit me all over again. The loss, the feeling of loss. And that was difficult, but anyhow.
No, hold on, Scott. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about this for a second. Because this is important. I hear something here that everyone needs to all your listeners need to hear about you and about life. And this is to respect our family and respect where we came from. And if we're doing it right, we embody them. So Scott Duncan, you miss him, but he's still alive in you because you love everyone. You even love Jeff Knight. How could you? I don't even, other than Kathy, no one here loves Jeff Knight. So what I'm saying is this spirit is alive inside of you. And this is what Angels 14 is at its best, is the best of us reflected outwards. You know what I mean? So rest in peace, Scott Duncan, for your father and all those old school aviators, all the World War II aviators, and all the World War II people. Those are my heroes because they didn't know the outcome. When we fight now, we know we're going to win. They didn't know they were going to win. And that's true courage. And we can take those lessons now and embrace all of our brothers and sisters when we're coming home like they did at World War II. We need to do that right now. All of us. Back to you, Scott Duncan.
Yeah, and so Dave, I have a T-shirt. It's on back order too, but it's a Team Jeff T-shirt. you're gonna like it.
Listen. I'm not sure. Listen, I'm not sure if we're gonna be doing this Team Jeff thing for very much longer because listen, it's a long shot team. It's like the Vegas odds on Jeff being an awesome leader is like 1 to like what? Where are we at now? Can someone look it up on the Vegas odds? 1-2 billion.
Underdog, baby.
Jeff is. Listen. Here's my analogy. Jeff, I was thinking about this. You're gonna like this. I was thinking like I was like the analogy of a train. Everyone knows what train. Army guys know what a train is, right? Train. Okay. So the train. So like I'm at the front of the train leading this thing. The engineer. I'm like woo woo. Everyone's like woo. Dave, you're doing great. And then Vaughn is. Oh, we get to Vaughn. Jeff is in the caboose. He's like, that's like when we all wherever we go. Jeff's gonna be the last one. He's gonna be the last guy to close the doors on the way. But then Vaughn's in the middle, and everyone loves Vaughn. So like I feel like I have the hardest job. I'm moving the train forward. Jeff does nothing in the caboose, and then Vaughn, everyone loves Vaughn. She gets all the credit. Kind of hard. Anyways, that's my analogy.
Hey,
you have it so hard, Dave. You have it so hard.
my brother Dave. Hey, if I'm the last one off the battlefield, so be it, brother.
Respect. Hey, absolutely. And Jeff, when you're on a forced march, where's the XO when you're doing a forced march?
Yep, exactly.
Yep, he's at the back. He's bringing up the rear. He's taking care of everybody. He's making sure that if you have any stragglers, you don't lose them. You take care of those guys so that we all come across the finish line together as a unit.
I like this. The king of the stragglers, Jeff Knight. That's a great call sign. We're gonna get a banner for you. King of the stragglers.
So Scott, let me add something in here. So the original question before Dave started going off on his deal.
What was that question?
I thought it was a good answer.
What is the typical Angel 14 session?
Oh yes, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that.
And it's and really over the past 5 minutes, the Dave was yapping his gums.
Hey, I said something good.
this is exactly what Angels 14 is, a session. You come to this, and exactly what Vaughn said is that, hey, people come for the possibility of helping other people. And so this is kind of what you're going to get. And from our side, we've talked about this. What makes this thing work? You know, it's organic. That there's no agenda. There's no structure. I mean, there is structure within the structure, but you know, we don't have this you know, checklist that we go off of.
Jeff,
It's kinda
hey, you see what I'm saying? Can you wrap this up? Come on, like this is what the fun thing about working this fast. We don't bore you. Like we keep it moving.
This is what it is. But this is the part. This is the part that helps people feel that they belong, because it is normal. And the other side of it, the veterans in the room that come, they understand the back and forth banter.
Yeah, I think
absolutely. Yeah. And see, you know, this is the very reason why I asked that question, because I knew that this was going to play out. And this is exactly how your sessions go every Friday. So this was by design. So checkmate. Absolutely.
Checkmate, not bad. Hold on, but I got one more point on this thing. I lost my point. I can't remember what it was. It was really good. It was genius as usual. But anyways, this is why Jeff, I can't have Jeff and I talking, because he interrupts the flow of the genius.
Well, see, now we feel diminished now. You know, now the show's going to tank.
Oh, so, that's what it was. Oh, shoot, I can't remember what it was.
That's okay. You'll think about it, Dave. If it was that good, it'll come back to you. So let me ask you this individually. What is your why for this show? Why are you doing it? And we'll start with Vaughn.
Good choice.
Thank you. So for me, the why is exactly why I showed up to begin with, like this whole idea of how can I continue to serve the veteran community, and in doing so, we see it every single week. Like someone is served, someone is helped, and this idea that, I mean, it is loosely a leadership call. So there are a lot of lessons in leadership, but it's not so much that we like pick a topic and we talk about that leadership topic. It's almost like it's leadership in action. Right? You see people step up and help other people in the moment. And there's so much learning in that. So for me, my why is what it's always been, is to show up to see how I can help veterans. And in turn, Johnny Walker and I were talking about this the other day, is when you show up to help people, it's sort of people say this all the time, but in showing up to helping other people, I've been helped myself in theoretical ways and in very practical ways too. So that wasn't the intention, but that is what happens, right? When you build a community, when you feel belonging. You know, Pam showed up on the call. She just started joining our calls, but I've known Pam for longer than I've been with Angels 14. As COVID hit and I was trying to change my business up, we had some calls around like, how are we going to do this? And then about a year and a half later, she shows up on this call and says, no wonder you've been thriving. Right? No wonder you've been thriving. You have this community lifting you up and giving you airspeed. Yeah,
you feel that? Yeah. I'm taking full credit, Jeff Knight.
Well, hey, Vaughn, I'll share with you the same thing. You know, doing what I'm doing here, I get so much out of talking to folks about, you know, their transition, about their story, their experience, and then the good things that they're doing now. It feeds your soul, because you see that there are other people out there that are being successful, that are doing good things, and they are helping others. And, you know, I'm so thankful that I'm doing this. I say it, you know, often, and I mean it. And that's why I repeat myself with this. Sarah Carell is a tremendous individual, and she's doing such good for a wide audience. And she continues to expand that audience through different programs. And, you know, as crazy as things have been the past, say, 3 weeks to a month, you know, at first I thought, you know, holy smokes, what's going on here? You know, has there been a second coming? And I'm just not one of the guys that made it, you know, and so we're in, you know, that in-between stage. But then I realized Sarah Carell's still here, so I'm okay. So.
oh, wow. That's big time. Scott Duncan.
So,
wow, Sarah Carell.
So what's your why there, Dave? That was a fantastic why for Vaughn. So what do you got?
I'm so tempted here because I really want Jeff to go first, because I'm obviously going to outshine him here with my answer. but I feel like if I go second or if he goes last, he's gonna make me proud.
But
Yeah.
he's used to going last, right? So he'll be good.
He is used to go. But I'll give you, Jeff. I'm gonna give you the choice, man, because you're my wingman, and I actually do love you. What do you want? I'm gonna give you the option. You want to like at the end of 8 Mile? Here we go, dude.
No,
it's your turn. You want to go first?
No,
or you want to go?
No, Dave, you go first, because really, something that we haven't talked about here, Scott, is really some of the things that make this go. So including the logo, which Dave gives you crap about all the time.
Yeah.
But the wingman in there, that there's a lot of meaning behind that. And
Yeah.
Dave's story is one of those things that is the impetus behind this. So, and Dave, you'll have to correct me, but Dave spent a year or two homeless after getting out of the military. And he's also wrote a book about this called Dogfighting Depression. And he can tell you where to get that. But there's a lot in there on that. So Dave, give him your why.
All right, not a bad tee up there, Jeff Knight. And I'm actually looking forward to this because I feel like you're gonna close this one up pretty good. All right, listeners, Vaughn, Scott, Pam, Eric Harvey, Matt Murphy, Sarah Carell, Kathy Jabot, Marina Rubinek, Jared Morla, strap in. I'm gonna tell you a story. This is a good one. This is a real good one. It starts with me in my car, a Ford Taurus 2001. It's freezing cold. It's nighttime. This car was given to me by an Israeli commando, believe it or not, who came to New York City and was homeless for 2 years. So had deep empathy for me. And because of those guys were rescued by guys on the air, they love fighter pilots, which everyone should, by the way. Jeff Knight, take note. You should love and respect all fighter pilots, by the way. But because of that, he had deep empathy for me. He saw himself in me. And he gave me this car because he owned a used car dealership. And that car kept me alive. And I was in this car freezing, 28 degrees in New Canaan, Connecticut. One of these guys gave me a car. Anyways, I'm in this car freezing with my Navy blanket on there. And I remembered my mom's advice out of darkness. And she said, the best thing you can do when you're not feeling that great about yourself, David, is to help somebody else out. And I just thought that was the dumbest Jeff Knight advice I'd ever heard in my life. How is helping other people going to help me out? Doesn't even make any sense. Threw it away, rolled my eyes, whatever, Mom, keep your mom stuff to yourself. Many years later, hear this advice. So parents out there, keep telling your kids something. They say repetition doesn't spoil the prayer. Keep talking. They're listening. They're not hearing you right now, but they're listening. You get it. Anyways.
That's so true.
So I started helping people. I said, okay, I know there's a large veteran suicide problem. I know there's a large transition problem, especially for the Army guys. Just kidding. And so I was like, I can write down the things that I'm going through and I can help somebody. I'll find somebody. But I didn't have a fancy marketing degree. So I just took the book. This is a freaking Word document. I'm no kidding. And I would just, whenever I met somebody, I'd say, hey, if you know any veterans, will you please pass this along to them? And I didn't have any idea where it was going. And I almost quit, Scott Duncan. I almost quit. And then one day I got an email. And the email said, this book keeps me alive.
Oh, man.
And then I knew I had to keep going. This
Absolutely.
guy in Afghanistan. He printed the whole thing out. This piece of shit, freaking high school book report that I made. This book, it's a terrible book. At least the first version was. He said, I'm also kind of not connected with my children right now, and I feel the pain every day. And your book keeps me alive. And I was like,
my God.
I was like, shit. Now I got to keep doing this. I don't want to keep doing this thing. I'd rather just freaking skateboard or play or surf or enjoy my life. I don't want to do this thing. It's hard. But here's a great quote for you. I just learned this the other day. I don't have it memorized, but here's a great quote for you. And I want all leaders out there that hear my voice to memorize this quote. Look at that free screenshot. It's hysterical. Here's the quote. I want you to remember. By Pema Chodron. Someone sent me this book the other day. Miracle. Quote goes like this. Only to the extent that which we expose ourselves to annihilation over and over again can which what is truly indestructible be found inside of us. You have to start, leaders. You can't wait. It's not going to get better. No one's going to be helped by waiting. And the reason why Jeff Knight is such a great wingman is because I was scared to do this thing. If I'm being honest, I was scared of being judged, scared of what people would say about me. I was homeless for 2 years. What a loser, right? All the things. But I fought through that and saved some people's lives, and it matters to them. And that's
Absolutely.
why we have to do this thing. Nice freeze face. Look at this freeze face. But it's my new Instagram profile picture. But that's why this is why we cannot wait anymore. And this is what makes Angels 14 so beautiful. It's a connection. It's a collection of superheroes and Jeff. And then we do this thing and we actually help people. And things happen in this group that can't explain other than miracles. Like when Vaughn came and said we had to help these people in Afghanistan with her awesome article, San Diego Tribune. Please, someone put a link in this thing, by the way. And we got to pump that article up. Vaughn is an incredibly powerful leader because she refocused our energy on helping people rather than the anger and the rage. And I used to be rage. I was rage. And all it did was explode everything around me. The reason why people love anger and rage is because it trumps all emotions except love. And so if you have a hard time with your emotions, anger is an easy way out of it. It's the cheap way out of it. It's the dark side way out of it. But if you're really a warrior, you can transcend it. And you can help others transcend it too. And it matters. So start now. Let's go. Mic drop. Now you're up, Jeff Knight. See what you can do with that, Jeff Knight.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, real quick, a couple things. Sorry for
cursing. It's a family show. Sorry for cursing. It's a family show. Sorry.
Well, yeah, Sarah probably took care of that, so you're good. This is why I asked the question, because I know that you have a powerful story and your why is tremendous. And the more people that know your why are going to see who you are and are going to come and want to be part of what you guys are doing. Because when you start filling other people's cups, you're filling your own cup.
Yes.
You know, and that is so true. And that's a tremendous story. And, you know, I know for me as a kid, my folks split when I was pretty young and my brother was older. So he kind of moved on and did his own thing. And my mom was fairly young. So she started going out and she started having a life that she didn't have because she was married when she was 18. So I spent a lot of time alone and I was kind of nervous around men because my dad had left. Now, thank God, I talked about my grandfather. He was the saving grace, but he wasn't always there, right? Because, you know, he had a life. And when you doubt yourself, when you are worried about what other people think about you, that's all consuming. And, you know, that's hard to get over. And so getting past that, knowing that, hey, look, I am somebody. I am important. I do have something to give because we all do, you know, wrestling those demons and then putting those demons down and you fight them every day, right? You know, people struggle with the imposter syndrome because, you know, it's a real thing, but we have to keep going. And the fact that you're doing what you're doing is tremendous. And we love you for that. You know, we like that you're a funny guy and, you know, how you do what you do. But I love that you were able to open up and show this side of you because that absolutely matters.
Scott Duncan, let me tell you something that I've learned here at the expense of dominating the conversation because I know Vaughn's got something good to say. Jeff, of course, not so much, but Vaughn, let's go to you next. But I want to make a key point on this thing is the power of being vulnerable. In the squadron, yes. Being vulnerable was a weakness. It was every man for himself and every little bit about you was just mercilessly ridiculed until you quit or you fixed it. And it was effective. That was the system in the squadron. But the system in life is not like that. It's more collaborative back here in the civilian life. So you have to change your mindset from being so aggressive, which is kind of like this fighter warrior energy, to the healer energy also, and a teaching also, and the visionary, which is the Fourfold Way, by the way. Book recommendation, Fourfold Way by Angeles Arian. Check this book out. And then there's another point I had to say, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, vulnerability is relatability. And when you can relate to someone, now you can teach them, and now you can learn from them. And this thing you said about overcoming fear, it's in every moment. To overcome the fear of teaching and learning on a 4-to-1 ratio, 1-4, Angels 14, 4-to-1, 4 times learning more and then teaching. Jeff is still in his 4 times learning stage. That's why he doesn't talk about it's great. But anyway,
we'll see. There's another gold nugget, the 1-4. So that explains a little bit about Angels 14, right? That's nice way to bring that in there.
But a little thing, right?
The Marine Corps is no different from that respect. And I would imagine certainly the Army, maybe not the Air Force so much, but no, but seriously, you know, as a Marine, it's an alpha male dominated, that's just what it is, you know, and it wears you down over time because sometimes it's like, just cut the crap, you know, it's like, it's not a freaking game. You know, this is about taking care of our people. It's not a show. And when you become a commander, you're, the servant leadership, that's huge. You are there to take care of your folks. Mission is always number one, right? And we always say that. But if you don't take care of your folks, there is no mission, because the people are what make the mission work. And so you have to understand that.
The problem is our leaders don't know how to take care of themselves. And our warriors are suffering right now. And that's why I love Sarah Carell and Vaughn and Pam and Matthew and Marina, Eric, Jerry, Kathy, also all of our allies. Here's a great quote for you, Scott Duncan, for all of our leaders out there. Please remember, I learned this from a great friend of mine at the company I work for. Her name is Sal. She said this. She said, being a great ally means it's always our problem and never their problem. And we love our allies. And veterans, hear me out on this one. We have to have more allies if we're going to win. So let's embrace our civilians and not push them aside. Don't be like, oh, I'm not listening to them because they're not in the military. It's ridiculous. Please stop it. They love us. They want to help us. Do not reject learning because of something else. Don't let anything block you from learning. That's hurting yourself. You hear me? Learn from our civilian family. Our civilian allies want to help us. Let's embrace them too. Let's teach them about all the things that they need to do to help us. They want to help. They just don't know how sometimes. Teach them with patience.
That's
humility.
Yes.
You got it.
Yeah. All of those things. You were absolutely right. So, hey, Jeff, let's, no, hey, that was perfect. Thanks. Really, seriously, Dave. Thank you.
Then we got to get to Vaughn because I told Vaughn to get to her. I didn't give her a chance.
Well, no, that's fine because Vaughn gave us her why. So now, Jeff, as the XO, you're bringing up the rear here. What would you tell me? What is your why?
Dude, it's on, dude. Listen, this is the end of 8 Mile, and this is your chance, dude. The crowd's going, what?
Well, my why is certainly not to be lambasted by Dave every time we get on something. That's certainly not my why. But so where Dave went just now is something that is somewhere that he won't go all the time. And there's
Maybe I don't feel like it.
There's a reason behind that. Okay. But at the same time, what it comes back to, and my why, is that exactly what all of you are talking about. You're talking about vulnerability. You're talking about authenticity. You're talking about, as the power of the story does, you're talking about your story. Everybody has one. Everybody needs a tribe. And that is my why, is to provide that tribe and to be a part of that tribe. And it's not me running the tribe. It's not anyone else running the tribe. It's me getting to be a part of that tribe.
Amen.
Is that it?
No, Jeff?
B minus, dude. Listen, everybody has a story. First of all, that's Sarah Carell's tagline. You just stole. They just ripped it off. Plagiarism. Number one.
I gave her credit.
He did give her credit. He gave her credit. That's true.
We got a chance, dude, to closing remark, and then there would have been fireworks, and then Scott would have dropped confetti and stuff, and then it was just kind of like, I don't know. He's getting there though, and that's the thing. Only through which you expose yourself to annihilation over and over again. You're gonna get better, Jeff. I'm rooting for you. Drink your milk. He's getting there.
So Dave, you talked about relatability too, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
is this a setup, dude? I feel a setup. Make it good. Make it good.
So we've talked about this. So we are relatable in that regard. You're giving me a bunch of crap. I'm taking it. I'm humble enough because to tell you the truth, I stand on the shoulders of giants. I mean, Dave, Vaughn.
That's true. That's true.
There's other folks that are there that, hey, just being a part of that and being a part of the knowledge of the giving, that it's just a powerful thing.
I gotta hear Vaughn's take on Jeff because it's probably gonna make us all cry because she's gonna say something actually nice about him. But Jeff really is the hero of the show because he sets the edge by being the consistent kind of butt of jokes. Basically, it lets me defuse the tension when we're doing like serious healing stuff like that, and we're all crying and stuff like that. And it's by the way, that's a natural, healthy release of emotions that even the Greek Spartan warriors called catharsis with a K. So check it out. So if the Greek Spartan warriors you think you're tough and you love 300, it's okay to cry a little bit, let it out. It's a natural, healthy function, a natural, healthy release for you to release those emotions. So don't shy away from it. It's not really so bad once you start crying.
Yeah, no, Dave, you're absolutely right. Washington cried. There's a lot of folks that you would think that's the last guy that would cry. Crying doesn't mean you're a wuss
You just
right?
don't want to
it
stay in
is
it.
an emotion,
Yes.
and that's okay. It's so absolutely okay to cry. And more people men need to understand this. They absolutely need to understand it. It's not weakness. Maybe there's a time and a place for it. And sometimes it'll catch you off guard, and that's okay too. It shows humanity, and not everyone's going to get that, and that's okay, because the folks that do get it are the ones that will be there for you, and the ones that will, who's going to have your back. So real quick, let's do this.
Wait, Scott,
I want to.
But before we do that, can we just hear Vaughn's take? Because I got to redeem Jeff now, because I always bang this guy up. I'm incapable of saying something really nice.
Sure.
About him.
Yeah.
So Vaughn, can you please redeem my
what
guy?
you got, Vaughn?
What do you think is Jeff's power on the team? I got to know from your point of view, the nice version.
Well, I'm just going to talk about Jeff is just like, he is every man's and every woman's person, right? Like he's so relatable.
Every man, Jeff.
Right? He is. He's so relatable, and he's so compassionate, and you just feel. I mean, let's be honest. When I felt belonging, the first person I felt it from was Jeff, right? For him to invite me on.
I was really welcoming.
For him to invite me on and just make me feel welcomed and just say, do what you want to do. Right? When I said camera, I'm going to keep my camera off. I'm going to keep my microphone off. He said, fine, do what you need to do. Just come, right? Just be there. So he's open arms. And speaking of, like, if you look at the three of us, like, you can't write this, right? On our show is what we call it. There's something for everyone, even Dave.
That's right.
I mean, you can't write this. Like, I mean, I think I wrote the LinkedIn post, like, what does an Army commander, a Navy fighter pilot, and a Vietnamese refugee have in common? You couldn't put this together, right? This couldn't have been orchestrated. So the how organic it is, I think, is really what drives Angels 14. And then just kind of putting together all of our whys is this idea of, and particularly in the military, from what I've been hearing from people coming out of the military, is in the military, there is no failure, right? You're trained, is ingrained in you that there is no fail. And then you come out and there's tons of failure in your life. There's tons of transition. And that alone is so hard to bear on your own. So to be able to find a tribe where you can come and embrace that failure and know that when you're feeling like you're failing, that you have all these people, this tribe, who are going to support you, because you cannot do it alone.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Our tribes are so important. And that's, I talk a lot about transition, folks that are leaving the service. That's kind of the impetus of my show. We're talking about other things too, but that's the one thing a lot of folks don't understand up front. Even if they're just disgruntled with the military and they just want to go, that happens, right? They underestimate the fact that they are going to miss those things, that tribe, that group of people that they trusted, those folks they loved, because you move away from that, right? They stay and they go on with the mission, and then you're left with, what do I do now? And for some people, that's a very hard thing to answer, depending on where you are in your transition. And again, that's a whole nother discussion.
Hey,
but
Scott,
finding that tribe and those people that can help you, people that can listen, people that can give advice, people that care, you are pulled into that. And then you start doing those same things for other people. And that's huge. And that's what I love about what you guys do. And I think anyone who tunes in, it doesn't take long to see the dynamic that you guys have, right, between each other, and how the military part comes into the, ragging the service, camaraderie, and then the tugs and the, giving each other a hard time. That's just part of what we do. But that's what people feel welcome to that, folks that are, from the military. But it's a great dynamic.
I remember my thing. By the way, you're rambling. I remember my thing. The thing I was going to say before. This is important. This is really important. This is like a write down type of thing. My good friend Mandy Whedon tells me, she's a PhD in learning. She says, always do like one thing that you're focusing on, which I just for the life of me can't do. But anyways, here's my one thing. Are you ready? I can't remember what the word. Okay, here it is. I wrote it down. Okay, first of all, Jeff Knight has a shirt that says "Embrace Failure" on it. You can buy it on Etsy. Just kidding, he doesn't have that. All right. The other thing I was going to say is as SLC for Salt Lake City. So how you remember this? If you love Utah or hate Utah Jazz, either doesn't matter. Remember Salt Lake City, SLC. Your people in general want to be safe, loved, and connected. Psychologically, your people want to feel, and emotionally safe, loved, and connected. When they do, they can do their best work. That's what we do at Angels 14. Everyone feels safe, loved, and connected except for Jeff. And that tension between us is what makes everyone else feel safe. Because Jeff is on the wall. He's the White Walkers or whatever they call him. Anyway, he's on the wall doing his thing. Forget it.
Well, hey guys, I'm looking at my watch and it's 11:57. So we're 11:58 now. So we're approaching the 1 hour mark. And I did want to ask, what was your favorite session so far of all the Angel 14 sessions?
Yeah.
I know it's probably very hard to choose from, and it might even be hard to remember all of them, right? But before we get any further into it, if we can quickly go around the horn, starting with Dave,
Yes.
and we can do this quickly because we're getting close on time. What was your favorite session so far?
Okay. I have another answer for you, but let me do that answer first. You can't hit me. You don't meet me. The thing I was going to say, it's really important. The other half of safe, loved, and connected is autonomy, mastery, and impact. This is what Daniel Pink says people want professionally work. So on your teams, make sure people have, and your families have, an opportunity for autonomy, freedom to make your own decisions and mistakes, mastery of the thing. It feels so good to be a mastery of a thing. Jeff, one day you'll know what it feels. And then the impact. We want to be leaders that make an impact, that measure what we're doing. Okay, now I'll do my favorite episode. Had to be Vaughn's episode where she was the first one of us to really elevate her game and be published in a newspaper and really make every act of kindness is a ripple effect with no logical ends. One of my favorite quotes. Vaughn is leading the way for that. So respect and love Vaughn. That was my favorite.
Very nice. Hey, something I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the show, and it's my fault for forgetting this, but the name of this show is actually What's Next Beyond Angels 14. So Vaughn, if we can.
Oh, we forgot about that. Listen, I'm okay with taping longer if you want to tape longer, then we can edit out all the Jeff parts and then we can just keep me and Vaughn's parts.
Well, I'm
hey, as long as you do.
Since the other two were on before the call in ample time, we've already talked about that. But at any rate, yeah, if we can go further, if you guys are up for it, that's totally perfect.
This is
but I just wanted to be a good steward of the clock here. I learned that day one. So okay,
you can drop. By the way, Pam Reyes. I know you don't want to drop, but if anyone else wants to drop, you can. You don't have to stay for us. Just want to make sure that people don't feel stuck here. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's a good point too. And I did this for those. Thank you, Dave, for mentioning that, because I do want to do a Q&A for folks that are still here. So let's do this. Let's quickly wrap up with Vaughn and Jeff on their favorite sessions, and then we'll open it up to folks that might want to ask questions or comment. So Vaughn, what you got?
Okay,
Vaughn,
so I want to say
your favorite show is yours. You can't say that your favorite show is yours.
Well, just to correct Dave, I was not published before I had that show with you guys. Remember, I had just written a LinkedIn article, and you asked me to read it, and then everyone on the call, really encouraged me to get it published, because not because like, oh, Vaughn, put your name out there. It was because this article and what I said, they all felt they could help other people, and that's what encouraged me to reach out and try to get it published. And I got published in the San Diego Tribune, which was my connection to San Diego, the Honor Foundation, Camp Pendleton. So it was the perfect place for it to be published. Okay, so Dave's gonna hate this. I love every episode that my Marine friend Johnny Walker is on.
Oh man, what in the world? I mean, come on, Vaughn. Are we in the Truman Show?
So much vulnerability. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but like I feel like there was a specific episode where he came on. He was, he really got vulnerable and he cried, and he did not see that coming. And that's what this community is about. It's like you show up, and no matter what you think you're going to act like, you become vulnerable. So I feel like I don't remember exactly which one episode that was for Johnny Walker, but I recall it clearly when he broke down. It was like, I didn't expect this.
Yeah, hey Warriors out there, don't be worried about it. It's healing. It's fine. It's gonna sting a little bit, and it's gonna be fine. You'll be much better off afterwards.
Yeah, Johnny, he's what you see is what you get. He's a good man. I like that guy. He's a good man.
He's a great guy. Johnny Walker's that guy. He's awesome. He's all aggression and rage, and I love that guy. But he's a good, beautiful heart. That guy.
Hey, that's what you need to knock those doors in, right?
That's what I'm saying. He's on the do not fight list. That guy. I'm not fighting that guy or any Marine. Really. That's right. By the way, Marines, don't send me hate mail. I'm just kidding. I love all the Marines. Okay, everybody.
Jeff, as is becoming habit here, I'm asking you to bring this thing home here. What's your favorite show, brother?
But I'm kind of with Vaughn, except for the Johnny Walker part. But I do love that dude. He's called Cheap Date, by the way. That's his call sign. But my favorite show was one which I won't say the name, but it was an individual that a veteran that was really struggling just with life in general and trying to get some other things going. He came on the show and we immediately turned our attention to him, and the whole entire show was one of encouragement, of basically just love, and that I felt was one of the shows in which we tipped the scale in this is exactly why we exist.
Yeah. And listen here, the key part about this is you don't have to do it all yourself. In this environment, everyone else helps you. Jeff doesn't know how to heal anybody, but Vaughn does, and Sarah does. So like everyone else helps pitch in. So you just show up, and it's like Sandlot. Show up and put your glove in the air, and I'll hit that ball right in there every fucking time. You know what's up. That's how I roll.
Yeah, and that's the Angels thing, right? And the name of the show is Heavenly Host, and you guys are absolutely that, because you have all those dimensions that bring all this together skillfully in a fun way, and it allows people to open up and be themselves. We need that space, and you guys have that in spades. That's freaking awesome. Okay, now let's do this real quick.
Q&A.
Sarah, are you with us?
Yes, we love you, Sarah. Give us a good question.
I am here. I've been loving it. Love
Cool.
it.
What's your favorite part, Sarah Carell? Say something.
Sarah, I need Dave to stop talking. So
fine, I get it's not my show. I hate not being on my show, by the way. This is the last time
it's almost your show. We're getting close, but the clock. I've got you by about a minute. But at any rate, hey Sarah, do we have anyone with their hand up? Do we have anyone that wants to ask a question or make a statement?
Matt Murphy.
Let's open up the doors here.
Yeah, he does.
I don't see any hands up. So anybody who wants to ask a question, please put your hand up and I'll tell Scott.
Matt Murphy, this is for the benefit of all the people watching. So ask a freaking question, dude. You're a genius. Think of something cool that will bring something good out.
Dave, if I were a genius, I'd figure out how to let everybody else talk except you. Get on with your rant. Definitely not a genius.
Well, hey, hold tight real quick. I was gonna say if this is a paid thing for Dave, but you've just revealed that it's not. So please keep going.
Yeah, I was coming out too rosy, so this is good. Keep going, dude.
I've been to more than a few, and it's very good that everybody here is who they are, Dave included. So it works, and I encourage anybody to dial in. It's great.
Thanks, man.
Fantastic
Guy.
How long have you been listening to Angels 14? So have you been since the beginning? Did you just come on recently?
Close. I ended up connecting with Dave. I don't even remember that part of the story, but he said, "Hey, I'm doing this new thing, Angels 14," and so I dialed in to just see what it was about. And I was actually not a great place at the time either, with what my transition journey. I got out about a year ago. So I don't know, Dave was probably maybe second or third one of yours. It was super early on. And then I went to a whole bunch of them because that was like crack cocaine of people that actually care about each other and help get us out of our own cycles and not talking and not thinking well and whatever. And then just been super on and off for me lately, but dialed in a couple weeks ago too. So yeah, it's been a great journey to watch.
No, absolutely. I got a question for you here, and answer it if you like. If you don't have an answer, that's cool too. But so that they know, and I think intrinsically they have a good idea. The Dave, Vaughn, and Jeff. What's the thing that keeps you coming back to Angels 14? Is there that one thing, or are there a couple things?
No, I think it's inherently two things, and Dave's actually laid out real well. It's that opportunity to learn and to ground yourself into something outside of yourself in a healthy way, and then two, it's to give back. That it's a platform where, no kidding, it is wisdom the crowd, and believe it or not, despite Dave's very, very outward personality, everybody gets to say and everybody gets to contribute, and most of us, we've all got little teeny parts that can help each other, and some of us have those bigger nuggets on this is what the world is like right now, or somebody's world is like, and that it's somebody else. It's not just Dave, Jeff, and Vaughn at any given point. It's actually mostly everybody else, either because of what they've shared or because of their little bit of wisdom or experience that tends to help all the rest of us that are on the call. And
Right.
that you see that back and forth, and that duality of learning and sharing is what lets folks feel pretty vulnerable and comfortable, because we realize we are all leaders, just like Dave says and encourages, and you come away with it with that airspeed and altitude. Yeah, you can tell Dave's going to give you some energy. So
first of all, it's airspeed
absolutely.
and momentum, by the way, not airspeed and altitude. Altitude is Angels 14 means 14,000 feet, by the way. A little nugget for you. Aviation cool guy speak. And then Matt, I love this guy, Matt Murphy, but he said it perfectly. It's about the learning and the teaching. Always. That's what the wave is. And so I've finally figured out what my role is. I used to think, and all by the way, leaders out there listening, and all of you are leaders, you don't have to do this thing all by yourself, and you can't. You're not going to be perfect when you first start. Look at Jeff. But you'll get better as you go. You will. And in the learning and the teaching, every time we get better, a little bit better. Sometimes we get worse, but when we let Jeff talk more, but then we keep going. There's someone asked me about my book one time, Scott, last piece. They said, describe your book in one sentence. It's free, by the way, dogfightingdepression.org. You can get it for free. In one sentence, love yourself, love others, and just keep learning. That's all that matters. That's it. Love yourself, love others, and just keep learning. That's all that matters. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Well, yeah. And so getting back to his answer real quick, there's two things, right, that I take away. One, there's a method to your madness, because evidently it's working, because what he said is probably exactly what you were hoping he would say. And then the second part of that is there, one team, one fight. You guys create the space, and then the team members are in there doing their thing to help make what you guys do a reality. And that's a great thing. So, not that there's any great answer, but your answer was fantastic. And I'm sure that all three of these folks loved hearing you say that.
Matt's answer is bonus quote for you, Scott Duncan. I know you want to keep this thing going, but I got a bonus quote for you. Scott Duncan, you got to hear this one. The most perfect technique is that which is not noticed at all. One more time. The most perfect technique is that which is not noticed at all. You don't know.
Are you Sun Tzu or something? What's up?
I feel like I am. I feel like I just got reborn as Sun Tzu. What's up? I know the Art of War and the War of Art. That's also a great book, by the way, The War of Art. You should check that out. And the Art of War. Sun Tzu is one artist, and the other one is Stephen Pressfield. But check this out, dude. Check this out. What was I saying? I had a good point. I can't remember what it was. I had a really good point. Scott Duncan. Anyways, back to you.
Dave, you always have a good point. It's just the way it is. Hey, Sarah, do we have anyone else that wants to jump into the ring here? Any brave souls out there?
Let's go.
Don't see any hands up. What, Dave?
We got to hear from Eric Harvey. First of all, I got to know what's up with this awesome cap you got on. Second of all, you've been sitting there so patiently, smiling at all Jeff Knight's joke like a good wingman, even though the jokes were terrible. What do you got for us, man? Favorite part of the show, or anything? We got.
I addressed the hat in the comments in the chat.
Oh, I missed it. What did you say?
It's okay. It's repping a friend's company. It's a product from a biotech, bioengineering company. Anyway, so question I would have, you alluded to it. There's 14 leadership traits. Do you want to talk about those in a list? What are the 14 leadership traits?
Should I do it real quick? Can Jeff, you want to do this thing? Jeff doesn't know. Should I do it real quick? Like without the description?
Well, yeah, just for the sake of time, we are at 11 minutes after, so don't take 14 minutes to go through the list.
That's fine. You know what? Actually, come to my website, dogfightingdepression.org, and I'll post them today. By the time you see this message, hopefully I'll have them posted, and I'll put them on there today. But everyone's always asking me about them. I like to keep them a secret, but anyways, that's probably not good to keep them a secret. Anyone can use them, and they're kind of like lighthouses in the dark. This is a great freeze frame. They're lighthouses in the dark. By the way, Adam Darrow, shout out. A great friend of mine, Adam Darrow, used to be on the show. While he was dying of cancer, took the time to send me messages and cheer me up with little jokes and funny things like that. And this show is the lighthouse, Scott Duncan. If you're asking us what it is, it's a beacon of hope for people out there. And when they come in here, you're like, you're home. And that's why all the jokes about Jeff, it's a familiarity. It's supposed to feel like the worst squadron you've ever been in. That's the goal. In fact, we should write that down. That's what it should feel like, the worst squadron you've ever been in. That's what I want. And that's what we've got. So it's perfect. And then everyone feels comfortable. And then we can learn. Because then when people feel safe, loved, and connected, then we can get to the autonomy, mastery, impact. You feel it? It's all a wave. All right, back to you. Let's go.
Yeah, so you guys are obviously tracking. That's good stuff. So, okay, well, if there's no one else that has a question or has a comment, let's close with this.
Wait,
well, hey, it sounds like you too want a Team Jeff shirt, so we'll get yours on order after the show.
What is this? This is a terrible ending to the show. It's like the worst possible ending. We were doing so good, and then this whole Jeff thing.
Hey, it happens from time to time. So, all right. Well, look, let me end with this. So
wait, hold on.
I have a feeling.
Are we gonna get a chance to talk? Are we gonna get a chance to talk? Or is this it? Because if this is it, I want to say something. But otherwise, you do what you want.
Well, I guess. What do you want to say?
All right. Thank you. Jeez.
Dave, if you have something to say, then by God, you need, don't hold back.
I gotta elbow my way in this place. All right. Jeez. I don't feel belonging, Vaughn. I'm not coming back. All right. Here we go. This is the quote that my friend Jerry Morla, who is a great student. He's curious. He's humble. He's enthusiastic. That's how you get wise. Big League Chew, by the way, little acronym, trademark, $75 every time you use it. Okay, Jerry Morla is such a great student, but here's why it's so important. When you start teaching leaders, if you don't know how to teach already, leaders, please learn how now. It's important. But when you teach, you learn twice. Jerry Morla will send me stuff every once in a while that I said as advice. I'm like, oh, I said that's great. So that when you teach, learn twice, your students will challenge you. They'll ask you questions. They'll force you to really understand the material of what you're talking about. So please start teaching right now. Here's the quote I was going to tell you, Jerry Morla. You made me think of it. This is for all the leaders out there that are like, screw this empathy stuff. This is for you out there. I'm looking right at you, all you salty old Marines and all you chief warrant officers out there. Salty old, salt of the earth. This is for you. Great. This is by The Servant as Leader by Robert Greenleaf. Great leaders may have gruff, demanding, uncompromising exteriors, but deep down inside, the great leaders and Jeff have an unqualified acceptance and empathy for those that go with their leadership. Unqualified acceptance and empathy is like love. And when you can open your hearts to have unqualified acceptance and empathy for everyone, truly everyone, even Jeff, even our enemies, your heart will explode with a goodness that I just want you to feel. Trust me. Follow me. Unqualified acceptance and empathy for everyone is the key. It will open your whole world up. Mic drop that, Scott Duncan. What's up?
Hey, that was so warm and fuzzy. I can't stand it. I think we need to talk another 30 minutes.
I'm the best. Listen, I'm the best. That's why Jeff Knight doesn't talk, and I talk more. So that's why. All right, we love you, Scott. Thanks for having us on the show. Seriously, thanks for giving us a platform. And we hope you come to the show. We hope you come to Scott's show. And we hope you just freaking end suffering in the world by finding someone to help. Do it. Go. It'll help you.
Oh, hey, your show is absolutely what it is. I love your show. And when I'm able, I absolutely hop on. Sometimes I come on and then I got to go because, life's happening in the background. But this has been fun, right? You want to have a show that's fun, that's entertaining. Some shows are serious and that's fine because they need to be. But this is like your show. This is a combination of all those things. Yes, and that's what makes it valuable. That's what makes it entertaining. That's what hopefully makes people continue to come back.
We love you, dude, by the way. Sorry for interrupting you so much. I really do love you. So I'm just like this. But it's life. The reason why the show works is because it is life. Whatever life is happening at that moment, we just do that. We don't try to do anything else. And Jeff is limited, so it helps. He doesn't have any ideas or anything. We just do our thing. All right, Scott, thank you.
Well, no, it's a good thing that you got the bandwidth that you do. So.
You got it.
Hey, Sarah, feel free to mute him. He can't interrupt anymore.
All right, I'm on fire today, Jeff Knight. You did great too. You
so,
minus. You did all right.
Hey, kind of getting back to closing out here, guys.
Yeah.
Is there, the name of this show is What's Next Beyond Service. So let me leave you with this question. What's next for you guys?
Yeah. Let's go to Vaughn. We haven't heard from Vaughn in a while, and Vaughn's so great. And I didn't really leave. It's my fault. I didn't leave enough space for Vaughn to talk. We should have another show with her, and I'll just be in the audience for her because she really is fantastic.
Well, yeah. In fact, yeah, I offered that up to Vaughn earlier, so hopefully, after this we can connect and do exactly that.
Vaughn.
But
I got excited today, Vaughn. I'm sorry. It was my
very excited, Dave.
I got excited about it.
That's why we love you.
All right.
Yeah. So Vaughn, what's next for you? What's it doesn't necessarily have to be just for Angels 14. I mean, it could be that too. But what's next?
Well, I'll talk about Angels 14 because it's something we've talked about, right? So the idea is like we're making so much impact in just our little group, and this idea that and let me try to get it right, Jerry. Every small act of kindness has a ripple effect with no logical end. And we kind of, Dave.
No small part. It's just every act of kindness.
Every act of kindness.
That quote is from Scott Adams, Dilbert creator. Give him a shout out if you like.
Got it.
It's not my quote.
So like we do feel like we're making a ripple effect, right? We do acts of kindness every Friday from these calls. We're making the ripple effect. We want to grow that ripple effect. And Dave's like just chomping at the bit to grow this thing, and we're just making some moves, right? Like, so my work is in creativity, curiosity, and taking small steps. Dave's more like, let's jump to the end. So we're trying
love the logo, by the way. I understand the logo was you. Is that correct? Your creativity?
Well, it was a combination of a lot of ideas, and but that's the beauty of giving everyone a place to have their voice heard and perspective, right? Because I do believe what we came to at the end, through the creative chaos to get to there, is an amazing representation of who we are. So we have our logo.
I have a feeling, Yvonne, that logo might be a whole nother story. We might get like 2 or 3 extra stories out of this.
That's right.
So, for another time, right?
That's right. We have our logo. We're working on this website. So we're trying to think like, how can we recreate and grow what we've already done? So what we've talked about is creating a platform for us to go out and do more of this. Speak on podcasts, speak at corporations. How do we take what we've built in that Angels 14 community and bring it to maybe corporations and put it into their veteran ERGs, right? The employee resource groups. How do we give other people in our network, not just Dave, myself, and Jeff, how do we give other people in our network, in our platform, a place where they can tell their stories and speak on different stages as well? So these are just our ideas right now. And because we started and have grown so organically, I feel like we're trying to get that to grow organically. And then I'm afraid to do this, but I want to let Dave talk about his ultimate mission.
Yes.
Well, hey, Vaughn, real quick, I love everything you just said, and to be able to do that, obviously it's going to take time of, rolling up the sleeves, sitting down and having those discussions and capturing, all these things on paper, and then developing that so that everyone has the same expectation and that you guys are driving in the direction that you really trust and know that you need to go. And everything you said was fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys grow, because I think what you're doing is incredible.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. What a guy, Scott, Duncan. What a guy. By the way, first of all, sorry for hijacking your whole show. I know we just came in here with put a whole explosion in there.
Hey, I've got two daughters. I'm very patient. I didn't used to be, but
that's the best way to be a teacher.
And not because they're daughters, just because I had 2 kids, right? So
I got you. I was with you. Listen, I have the mindset, apparent, as you can see, of like a 7-year-old, 6-year-old boy at all times. So it's fine. I like totally the kid thing. I was actually confident. Okay, here's the thing for coming up next. This thing is infinite. The 14 leadership disciplines to me are so beautiful, and they're free. You can use them at whenever you want to. They're for everybody. They're just words anyways, but they're more powerful than that. They're disciplines that will keep you in the sweet spot of life. And if you really pay attention and focus them and embody them every day, you can work on them all at the same time. Jocko Willink actually said this many years ago. Maybe you might have heard of Extreme Ownership, great book. He said, you can work on all the things at the exact same time. And I really listen to that. You can work on all the 14 leadership disciplines concurrently, all at the same time. It's going to take you a long time. Jeff, it's going to take infinity for him to get there, but he'll eventually get there. What is it? The whole, mathematical thing approaching zero. Anyways, I really want to be able to teach everyone these 14 leadership disciplines. And and I want them to learn how to teach. That's the thing. If we can teach our leaders how to learn and teach, we're going to be all set. Right now, not everyone, a lot of people are closed off to learning from different things, either because of bias or prejudice or hate, or they're the enemy or misunderstandings. And so you block yourself off to learning from people and you don't see their perspective. And as a leader, if you're not clearly rooting for everyone, you will soon lose the trust of everyone. You have to be rooting for everyone. And so if you are really rooting for everyone, you got to listen to everyone. You've got to spend the time as a leader. If you really want to do this leadership thing, you have to dedicate yourself to learning. And for me, that's very hard to do. I love to talk, but I promise you, I read way more than 4 to 1 ratio than I teach. I promise you I do. It just seems like in here I do, because when you teach, you have to have energy. This is all a show. All this is just smoke and mirrors. I'm actually an introvert. I'd rather sit in my house and read by myself. I'm a very quiet, very private person. But when I'm in front of other people, leaders, You can't teach them by being passive. You have to be active. And so you have to learn how to be engaging to get your students' attention. Now, they're not always ready to hear you when the student is ready to teach her peers. So you be patient, like Scott Duncan just said, and you be humble because you don't know the truth. You just know your piece of the puzzle. So when you meet someone like Vaughn, a powerful leader, you say, Vaughn, here are my puzzle pieces. What do you got? And Vaughn's like, I got these puzzle pieces. And now we're making a picture. And then you meet Jeff and he's only got one, but now we're getting it better. And then Matt Murphy's a smart guy. And then Sarah Carell, and then Eric Harvey, and then Jarek Morley, and then Scott Duncan. And before you know, now we got a much more clear map of what's going on around us. And now this team is ready to survive in chaos and ambiguity because we all see a piece of it. So the best leaders are always learning from the people around them. Always. You never stop. Don't let your ego hold you back. Don't let your prejudice, I don't like this person or this group of people. Don't let that hold you back from learning from them. Don't let anything don't let the media distract you from dividing us from who we really are. One team, one love. And when we all get together and learn from each other, we're going to hit the stars and we're going to not stop. And we're going to save everyone. Let's go. You feel me? Let's do this. Mic drop. Now, Jeff Knight. Now
Dave.
Yes.
David.
I got this. You feel me? I have it. Let's go.
Have you seen that Saturday Night Live skit where in their hot tub? And I can't think of the guy's name, but the guy that's always trying not to laugh during the skit, and his name's Dave in the skit, and they had to call him David so he'd stop laughing. But anyhow, that was some of the best stuff I've heard you say. You say a lot of good stuff, and I'm not trying to pump you up here, but I think it's very easily seen that you're well read, and everything you just said aligns with everything that I believe and the things that I want to bring, the things that I hope, I show when I'm engaged with other people. And that was fantastic. I'm so glad that you guys had the time today to come on because number one, I want to make this a platform to expand what other people are doing, the good things they're doing, because it needs to be out there. You're going to do great doing the things you do, but it's always nice to have somebody else willing to, open another door or another way to get your message out there. And I'm so thankful that you guys had the time today to come on
together, Scott Duncan.
No, absolutely.
You feel this. If you're out there listening to this, get involved with the other veterans and allies. We need everyone. Do you hear me out there? We need all of you. We can't do this with just Vaughn and definitely not just Jeff. Come join us and start your own thing. You don't have to be part of our thing. It's your choice, but learn from us and teach us. We're waiting for you. Bring it.
And I would add that one puzzle piece that Jeff has, you couldn't have the puzzle without Jeff's piece.
Exactly. He's only
Jeff
got one,
but
it's a gorgeous one. He's the missing puzzle.
It's the keystone.
He's the key piece. He's just one little tiny Jeff piece. Oh, we love Jeff.
Hey, Scott, I've got to get off too, but
I bet. Hey, so quickly, what's next for you, Jeff? Are you going to wrap it up for us?
So really what I want to do is I want on behalf of Angels 14, thank you for having us on What's Next Beyond Service. And thank you, Sarah Carell, for hosting this or being the partner. I'm not sure how that works. But we truly appreciate it. I look at these three things right here as a tribe of tribes. And we're so interconnected. Yes. And together we can make huge ripples.
That's it. There we go. Let's go. Jump on the wave. Let's go.
We can feel the tide. Absolutely.
Let's go.
And not roll tide either. I'm not an Alabama guy. But anyhow. Okay. Well, guys, again, thank you, each one of you, for what you do outside of Angels 14 as well, because you guys obviously inspire a lot of people in daily life. And it's cool that you guys can come together as a team and then, hit that button and it explodes every Friday. And, it's messy, right? But it looks good. and that's life, right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep,
life.
Thank you, Scott.
Sarah, you're absolutely welcome, Vaughn. Sarah, is there anything else you want to, throw in here real quick before Jeff rolls out?
Yeah, give us a little love, Sarah.
I just love you guys. That's what I was thinking. I so appreciate what you're doing. I wish I could get on the call more often. I've enjoyed every single one that you did and that I was on. So really a lot of love, always rooting for you and sharing about you.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for all the airspeed momentum. We really needed it when we first started. Thanks for having me on your show too. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Can we give Scott some credit? Can we give Scott some credit for managing this so well today?
Listen, dude, Scott, I don't know how you did it. Really, that was.
You should take a nap now, Scott.
I was pushing you hard on that one.
It was amazing.
Hey, no, it's all good. It was fun, right?
It's a fun time. It's a good time.
Hey, real quick before I forget, guys, I appreciate that. But before I forget, Jeff, any links, any things that you want to make sure folks have access to? Once this is done and we put it on YouTube, I'm going to post on LinkedIn and have the link to this recording. So any other links or things that are important to you guys, let me know, and I will put that within the post so that folks have it in one LinkedIn post.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The biggest thing is the at Angels 14, the LinkedIn page right now.
Yes.
And then of course we can go grab that too when we get our website and put it up there as well and spread the love.
Okay. If you don't mind, just DM me on, again, whatever these things are. That way I don't forget, because I want to make sure I get them in one shot, one kill. So awesome. Okay, guys. Well, hey, thank you, everyone. We went about an hour and 30 minutes today, which is fantastic because there was no dead space into this. It was, it was high octane. So much appreciated.
Could there be dead
God bless
space?
you guys.
Could there be?
What's that?
Love you guys. Could there be any dead space? I mean, was it even possible for there to be dead space? All right. Love you guys.
I wouldn't. Not in this session.
Thank you
all.
Hey
guys.
Thank you all for this.
God bless you guys. Yeah, you got one more
don't
thing?
Forget to get the recording, Scott Duncan. And by the way, for the record, he missed the recording, but I had to remind him, just for the record, just so around this.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I was so doggone excited to get started. I was overwhelmed.
Fair excuse. Always love and respect. Scott Duncan, Sarah Carell, Matt Murphy, Yvonne, Jeff.
Always love and respect, guys.
On the show. Bye.
Okay. Hey, love you guys, and we'll talk soon. Take care.
Bye. That was fun, man.
Bye,
See you, bro.
Sarah. Bye.